Hello everyone, Rocket and Groot just released into Marvel Snap, and whereas last week I felt absolutely uninspired, I didn't feel like I wanted to run a single thing with Bruce Banner, so I actually skipped him. This week, Rocket and Groot is a card that fits right up my alley. It fits into those kind of psychological mind games. You can either use Rocket and Groot as a way to deter the opponent from playing in a particular location, so that you can kind of control the rest of the game. You can hit a Juggernaut easier. You can kind of set up for like a Stegron play or whatever you need to do. You can kind of gauge where the opponent is going to play their cards a little bit better for the most part. And then what I found I really like with it is Nebula. Using Nebula plus Rocket and Groot gives the opponent those competing priorities of which one do they want to stop scaling. Either way, it's going to be +2 for one of your cards, either way each turn. So whether they stop the Nebula from scaling or they let your Rocket and Groot scale, either way, something is going to be scaling throughout the entirety of the game, and then you can shift the Rocket and Groot later. In this deck, I actually found that I shy away from Scream more often than not, because it feels like I would rather have like a Kraven into a Heimdall shift, but Scream is that kind of counterpart, being able to use your Spider-Man, your Arrow, your Stegron, your Polaris to negatively flick their cards even more. Once you have Rocket and Groot down, can open up a lot of negative affliction. It's just I typically angled more toward the Kraven line, knowing that I had like a Hydra Bob, a Rocket and Groot, a Heimdall potential shift at the end, which, speaking of Heimdall, a lot of decks with Scream want to run Magneto so that you can get that last turn kind of shift and impact onto your Scream. I have loved the Heimdall tech. Heimdall, especially in this deck, is one of those that it allows you to do even more mind games. So maybe you move Rocket and Groot on 5 out of an Angela lane, and then on 6, you Heimdall shift it back into the Angela lane so that when they thought it was free to play there, now all of a sudden you're going to scale by another 2 or 3, and they're just not going to get any extra benefit from that Angela lane where they thought they would. And so it creates a lot of extra mind games, and I absolutely love that when it's a surprise kind of tech pick. I went 7-3 for a 70% win rate, and I don't think Rocket and Groot is going to be restricted to just this movement style of build, but what I really enjoyed is that Nebula pairing. You could do Storm plus Rocket and Groot so that you restrict one lane, and then you let Rocket and Groot scale in another. There's a couple of ways to kind of explore it a bit further, but I think the kind of small movement package is a great place to start. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. So, I think I'm going to move it over into Mojo World. We're going to throw Stegron. And the reason I want to throw it into Mojo World is because if they are going to compete with that location, they're going to have to play 4 cards and scale our Rocket and Groot 4 times. Big Claw in the left lane. So if we're going to snap to move Hydra Bob, I think we do it now. Go ahead and snap into it. I'm going to throw Iron Man over to the left. We're going to have a cheap Miles, a cheap Nebula, a cheap Kraven next turn. Even though we won't be able to scale the Rocket. Ooh, wait. So they double played over here. Master Mold, okay, is fine. We have a Master Mold Enjoyer. Rocket and Groot doing his absolute best at that scaling. The Gladiator also pulls Arrow here, and that is beautiful. Rocket and Groot going up to 6, 7, 8, 9 points of value so far that he's impacted the game with. Hydra Bob jumps over to the left, which is magnificent here. We could, do we ever pull like a complete shakeup and go like Heimdall left? We shift the Rocket, shift the Arrow here. We give up the Mojo World location. I wish we had priority because then Rocket and Groot could scale again in mid. But I think what we're going to do is the Heimdall shift over to the left. We do force the retreat. Rocket and Groot absolutely kind of locking down that available play in Mojo World so that we can scale dramatically. We'll take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Soup Slayer. We'll see how much soup they actually slay. Let's start with the Nebula. We have Scream, we have Rocket and Groot. And with Rickety Bridge, it's pretty restrictive in like where and how they're going to want to play. So we can throw Rocket and Groot into one of these two lanes, and that helps us out immensely. With Nebula in the right lane, I assume that they want to play into the Nebula lane, so I'm going to go Scream into Nova Roma. Next turn, we'll go Rocket into the third lane, so that when they play those cards there to stop Nebula from scaling, we're going to scale Rocket and Groot. So it's an either-or type of situation. We don't have priority, which is unfortunate, but so they can play here this turn for free, and then next turn we'll be able to start scaling the Rocket. So Hood, to be able to get rid of the Rickety Bridge, is big. This lane does become troublesome. If we can maybe find Iron Man could do good. We could also do something like this. Hit him with the Spider-Man, see if we yank like the Athena or the Agent Venom. If we yank it here, great. If we yank it here, it's gonna die, so also great. We could do Arrow next turn with our 5 energy. Ooh, a Red Guardian. Unfortunate Red Guardian pull. Red Guardian is one of those cards that was good on release, but he has continued to gain value like turn after turn, release after release. Just immense amounts of value. So, Athena continues to scale here. We do find Iron Man, which is nice to see. I almost want to snap to move the Hydra Bob. And then we can decide to do Arrow, Miles, both in the right lane. Move Groot next turn. I think is probably going to be our biggest play. And since we're really only competing for 2 locations, so as long as we like move the Rocket, he could be our sacrificial lamb. As long as we move that and they don't have something like a Juggernaut, then we're going to be absolutely fine and be able to win the Rickety Bridge. Ooh, they have a Rocket and Groot of their own in just kind of a mid-range like value style build. And Rocket's going to scale a touch here. Hydra Bob doesn't jump into Rickety Bridge. He jumps into mid so that we retain that 10 point of value. Let's do... Rocket and Groot is 7 here, so Miles is going to be cheaper. And then I think we just throw Arrow. Arrow is going to double up to 20. If they have a Shang-Chi, we're in trouble. But otherwise, I think we're okay. They move the Rocket and Groot over, that's fine. Because we're only competing for 2 locations. As long as it's not a Shang-Chi right, we should be in the clear. US Agent? Oh, that's scary. But Shuri's Lab helps us out a lot. Okay, never mind. It's gone. I forgot about the Nico. Rocket is going to scale here. They got a big Sage, which Rocket's going to scale again. The Iron Man puts us absolutely over that edge. We win right, we win mid, and then left is a tie. We will take the 4 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Yorick, rank 260. We start with Rocket and Groot. We've been having some decent luck with having that in our opening hand. Titan allows us to do like a Miles plus Heimdall last turn, which could be pretty cool. Let's go ahead and go Hydra Bob as we wait and see. Ooh, they go Angela, which is going to be beautiful for the Rocket and Groot. Oh my goodness, I love to see it. I'm going to snap into that. That alone is going to be so satisfying. So let's go ahead and lock in the Rocket and Groot, because every time they try to scale Angela, we're going to scale just as much. Oh my goodness. Jeff is going to be only a 2-power Jeff, the babier land shark. And then Kitty Pryde, it's 1 power when it goes back into the hand. Oh my goodness. Rocket and Groot is going to be just kind of that mid-range flexible monster for certain times of the meta, I feel like. And so, let's see. We have Arrow, but that doesn't pull anything right now. I almost want to move the Rocket, because I don't think they're going to play here anymore. What if we did Craven? We moved this fella. Then we also threw a Spider-Man. We're going to be able to do Miles plus Heimdall next turn, so that's going to be a big turn in and of itself. Our Kraven is going to scale. We're going to be able to shift it back into Titan to give them that kind of mind game. I hope this is Kitty Pryde. I hope it's Kitty Pryde so much. Oh my goodness. All right, so we yank the Jeff over to the left. It doesn't really do anything for us, but that's fine. Okay, Penny Parker. And then what do you have over here, my friend? Elsa Bloodstone. So we should have... No, we don't have priority. That is a bit of a problem. Wait, it's not turn... Oh my goodness, it's not turn 6. I thought it was going into turn 6. I apologize, you guys. So... we have to make sure something moves this turn. They play here, right? So we can always yank it to the left with arrow. Oh my goodness, they didn't. No! What? Why? Alright, so Elsa, oh man, I thought they'd buff up their Angela. What is going on right now? We can still do Nebula plus Heimdall, but that's not as fun. Let's go ahead and do it. The Kraven will scale, maybe Rocket and Groot will scale a touch as well, and then we're gonna go from there. Oh, I really enjoy the mind game components of the Rocket and Groot. So they go double drop in mid, they go single in the left. We're gonna drain 2 of those with the Rocket and Groot with our some kind of sneaky Heimdall shift over into mid. And so Rocket is not done scaling yet. We're not done gaining additional power. The Kitty Pryde, the Captain Marvel, which can move, it can shift if it needs to. They're not going to be able to win mid, but they're not able to win left either. Even if it shifted over there, we will take the 4 cubes against Yorick. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Dusty, Coco, Kitty. The first location is Fogwell's Gym. Let's go ahead and play... we're going to play Nebula into mid. I think that's going to be fine. They go Chavez. We do have Rocket and Groot, which we love to see on that curve because we can make them have those split or contradicting priorities, which is really, really nice for us. Let's go ahead and skip here. We will have priority because of Nebula scaling there. And so now we can go Rocket and Groot into mid. They're going to have those contradicting priorities of do you stop Nebula, do you stop Groot? And so we can either make sure that Nebula gets big or Rocket gets pretty big. Rocket and Groot get pretty big in the process. They go Fastos, so it's just like a buff style deck. Let's go Kraven. I'm going to go Hydra Bob and then a Snap. Wrong side. And then a Snap. So we have Heimdall to be able to help us with our movement with Kraven. They play in the far left with Galacta. Hydra Bob pops mid. Unfortunate. It's fine. We have priority, so we could arrow the Galacta over into Nidavellir. You'll love to see it. And then if we draw Scream, we could do Scream Stegron. We could do Stegron Miles Morales. We could do Heimdall. Oh man, they played both into mid. Rough. We arrow pulled the wrong direction, my friend. And so the Rocket and Groot, the Nakia, so Forge and Nakia. And they have Makari coming down here. Okay. $17 would shift over to the left. This would be, what, 15? Shifting into mid. Let's do the Heimdall, the old Heimdall shift. I'm going to go ahead and shift Rocket and Groot over early in case they play over to the left. I want to absorb some of that goodness. Let's see. A Rocket and Groot of their own. Okay. And then Surfer. So it's a Surfer style of Rocket and Groot. That's fine. I think we should be able to outscale that. Craven buff, and then we have the left lane. We have mid. We do a little bit of a juke, and that's why I like to see Heimdall in the mix from time to time, because a lot of times you're expecting Magneto, you're expecting the arrow, maybe a cannonball, but Heimdall can be so tricky, especially when you're restricting them with like Rocket and Groot. You can really start analyzing where you think they're going to play and try to play around it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Mango. Mango. The first location is Westview. They have Makari, so probably a Silver Surfer, Rocket, and Groot style of build. Now with Scream, we can, when we move some of their cards around with like Arrow, we can gain some benefit. But I think instead, I actually have been liking Craven better here. No, we're still going to go Scream. Scream can scale immensely, which ends up being really, really good for us. So they go Okoye. I think it's probably just a standard Surfer, like a buff Surfer. Ooh, Aunt May's is maybe not amazing, but it does help out our Scream a lot. What if we did, what, a... Nebula, a Craven? Nebula moves, we can do Rocket plus Miles next turn. And they snapped on us. Oh, the Red Guardian. That's fine. We don't need to rely on Scream too much in this deck, honestly. We have a lot of things working in our favor. So Craven, we don't have priority still, which is unfortunate. Oh, no. Well... Do we fight for it? I think we fight for it. We fight for our right to Hala. What do they have? Galacta? We need to slap either the Red Guardian or the Galacta. The Galacta is gone. The Red Guardian, the Makari. Galacta stays. I misspoke. But the Makari, the Red Guardian are going to be taken care of. And then now with the Galacta, we can Arrow, because we're going to have the... because we have priority. We can yank Galacta over here, and then, what, a Miles plus an Iron Man? This is one of those games where I don't think we're going to be able to go Rocket and Groot, because we had to focus on the Stegron to make sure we won Hala, which puts us in a very, very winnable position now. Unfortunately, they played into Hala instead of Aunt May's, and so Galacta does trigger here. The Fastos comes down as fast as humanly possible. Now we have a big decision to make. We can go Heimdall. Heimdall shift would bring this up to 22. This would go up to, what, 16, 18 in the Lechugia. Or this goes to 22 still. And then this goes up a good amount. Or if we thought they weren't going to play into Aunt May's, we could do this. I'm going to go with the sneaky little Heimdall. We do force the retreat from Mango. We will gladly take the 2. Let's jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Ya Filthy Animal. The first location is the Crimson Cosmos. We should be able to shift quite a bit of power there, either with like a Heimdall, but with a Rocket and Groot that slides that way, maybe with like a Hydra Bob or a Spider-Man. We have a lot of options. All right, so the Sunspot comes down. Haunted Embassy not too bad. Let's go, what, with a Craven over here. I think we go Craven to the right. We probably Polaris to the right as well. I'm curious what kind of deck they're running with the Sunspot, the Nico. Oh, okay. We win the right lane. That's fine. That does mean we won't be able to go with an Iron Man play, though. Or a Heimdall play, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and snap into it because I think I'm not sure what they're running, but I do think we have a decent advantage. I think they probably retreat. They sent over the Miss Marvel emote. Whoa, okay. So with the Polaris, we are going. Oh, they're going to change the Black Swan into a demon. Oh, okay. Seems unfortunate, but it is what it is. We can go Miles into Arrow into Iron Man because we already win here. We just need to win one of the other lanes. And so by fully stacking into Wakanda Embassy, I think we're going to have no problem making that a reality. Whoa, you filthy animal is running. I don't know if they got it from me or not, but the King Eitri deck, which is actually my favorite deck right now. It has a lot of staying power, a lot of ways to win. This set of locations is not great for it because it could run like a King Eitri, Thor, Hit Monkey, but with all of the restrictive locations, it's going to be very tough for them to do much of anything because their She-Hulk is going to go down to 1. They're just, yeah, they're not going to be able to hold down. So we're going to go with the Iron Man. We lock in that mid lane, which no matter how much they scale, I think it was locked in anyways. And then the Sanctum Sanctorum is surefire win as well. And we do force the retreat. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. We are going to go ahead and end the video there. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. Rocket and Groot, insanely powerful. I think he's going to find his way into a lot of decks. Whereas last week was an easy skip, at least for me. I didn't even pick up Bruce Banner. This week feels like he is going to be, Rocket and Groot is going to be a card that appears in a lot of kind of mid-range or just value build that looks to restrict and get the maximum value that you can while negatively afflicting the opponent. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.